The campus community mourns the loss of a student.
And a six-figure endowment will help needy students.
Carolina News Today starts right now.
Carolina News Today is brought to you in part by the Wing Company of Pembroke, serving award-winning wings fresh, not frozen. Live entertainment weekly, 703 West 3rd Street in Pembroke. 10% discount for students and teachers every day. TheOriginalWingCo.com.
A local high school gets a grant to help prepare students for employment.
And Braves volleyball season draws to a close. Hello, I'm Bryant Reed.
And I'm Alexis Clinton. UNCP students mourn the loss of a fellow Brave after a fatal car accident. The wreck happened Friday on State Route 711, about a mile from Pinecrest Country Club. Junior Tamara Davis was a passenger in her mother's SUV when it was struck by a driver who had drifted over and corrected across the center line. The State Highway Patrol says Tamara was killed when the SUV struck a ditch. Her mother, Angela, is in critical condition. Also killed were the driver of the other vehicle, 24-year-old Craig Locklear of Lumberton, and his passenger, Andrew Locklear. Tamara was an Oak Hall resident and member of the marching band Color Guard, who will be sorely missed.
Last week, we told you about the multi-million-dollar donation to UNCP from Jim Thomas, a Los Angeles real estate developer. This week, we can tell you that his wife, Sally Thomas, has established an endowment to help support the Care Resource Center. Mrs. Thomas gave $110,000. The interest on the gift can be spent annually for food, clothing, and housing assistance for needy students. The Director of Community and Civic Engagement says the endowment is a special kind of gift.
This is the first endowment that has ever been established for the Care Resource Center, and really that sets a precedence that lets others know, one, that we're investing in a program that supports student needs in a way that we haven't in the past. So the endowment really opens the door for other people to invest in this way. In the past, we have received significant donations in the amount of $10,000, $5,000 that we can use towards food and emergency housing support. However, the endowment shows an investment that is beyond just a one-time donation. They're saying that we believe in this program, we want to see it continue, and we want to see it continue for a long time.
The university is thankful for this gift, and with the Thanksgiving holiday right around the corner, we asked students and staff what they're thankful for.
We're thankful for education and Alpha.
I am thankful for all the blessings that the Lord has given me, my family, my friends that are family, and all of my animals, which are my children at home, and then my job here at UNCP and all of my students that I work with on a daily basis.
Thankful for the failures that came in my life. I'm thankful for the success. I'm just thankful for everything. Thank God.
The things I'm thankful for is for my culture, for our songs and our dances. I'm a member of the Lumbee tribe. I do a lot out in the community as much as I can for our youth, all the way up to our elders, get them involved in our culture classes that we have all across our tribal territories at our Boys and Girls Clubs. And so I'm thankful for this cultural rejuvenation that's going on and how happy everybody is about being indigenous, about being native and getting involved in their culture, not just in November, but throughout the entire year. And so I'm thankful to see so many more people getting engaged in this good medicine.
Purnell Sweat High School will take part in a $2 million state grant to help students get college and career ready. Governor Cooper announced the grant last week. College and career specialists will work there and in 6 high schools across the state. 6 middle schools in Nash County will participate in an achievement program called AVID, which promotes advancement via individual determination. The grant is funded by the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, and the programs will be offered through local chapters of communities in school.
The North Carolina Department of Transportation is partnering with the State Highway Patrol to remind the public to help keep emergency responders safe. It's NCDOT Now.
Welcome to this week's edition of NCDOT Now. I'm Carly Oleksic. Safety is always our top priority at the North Carolina Department of Transportation, not only for drivers and employees, but also first responders. Each year, hundreds of emergency responders representing fire, law enforcement, emergency medical services, towing, and transportation agencies are injured or killed by distracted drivers while responding to calls for service. In an effort to raise awareness of these dangers and help keep first responders safe, the department is partnering with State Highway Patrol to offer some reminders to drivers during Traffic Incident Response Week, which runs November 13th through the 19th. Remember to slow down and move over when passing an incident scene. It's also the law in North Carolina. If you can steer it, clear it. If your vehicle is drivable after a fender bender or crash and there are no injuries, move it to the shoulder or off the side of the road while waiting for emergency responders.
What I tell individuals, anybody with a light on their vehicle, if they're at an emergency scene, the law encompasses that type of vehicle. So it's very important that the motoring public pulls over or moves over as they are approaching an emergency situation.
On another safety note, did you know that less than half of all children wear helmets when bicycling, yet they can reduce severe brain injuries by 88%? To promote more helmet usage, the department's Bicycle Helmet Initiative distributes helmets to children from low-income families. The department is currently accepting applications from government and non-government agencies. Those interested must apply by December 11th. Funding for the program comes through sales of the Share the Road specialty license plate, which has helped provide thousands of helmets to children since 2007. Around 4,000 helmets will be distributed this year. To download the application, visit the website below and go to the Bicycle and Pedestrian Division section. On this Veterans Day, the North Carolina Department of Transportation would like to thank all those who have served in the armed forces to protect our country.
Additionally, thank you to the nearly 800 veterans who continue to serve the public through their work with the department. And that's all for this week's edition of NCDOT Now. As always, you can stay connected with us on Facebook and Twitter at NCDOT. You can also follow us on Snapchat and Instagram at NCDOT.com. And from all of us at the North Carolina Department of Transportation, safe travels.
November is Prematurity Awareness Month. Every year, more than 450,000 babies are born premature. That's 1 in 10 babies. These tiny babies often face serious problems, and some don't make it. The March of Dimes is a national voluntary health agency whose mission is to improve the health of babies by preventing birth defects and infant mortality. Zeta Phi Beta sorority chapters have joined forces in this international campaign to support research into the causes of prematurity birth and to educate the public and healthcare professionals about this escalating health problem. Help spread the message about premature birth so more babies can be born healthy.
I came to the University of North Carolina at Pembroke for big school opportunities at a place that feels like home.
I love our rich diversity and strong traditions.
And because UNCP is an NC Promise school, I'll graduate with a world-class education without a mountain of debt.
Learn more and apply today at uncp.edu or call 910-521-6262. Our promise, your opportunity. uncp.edu.
I have big plans for my future, and I can get there from here.
A local high school ends their 5-year playoff drought in football.
And Braves men's basketball dominates in the weekend tournament.
Sports are up next with Dolphus Pearson III.
I worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
Doesn't see race. Love is love.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
What's up? What's happening today?
Let's do those pearly whites, man.
Yeah. Okay, boys, check it out. Stand up, do my terrorists, don't compare us.
Ooh, cute.
Are you good to try?
I'm fine.
Hey girl, what's up? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me.
Yes, sir. See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. It's so not worth it.
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking, now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back. I'm Dolphus Pearson III. The Purnell Sweat Rams traveled to our state's capital this past Friday to face the Heritage Huskies in the first round of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 4A state playoffs. This game snapped a 5-year playoff drought for the Rams, while Heritage High entered the game at 10-1 on the season, with their only loss coming against undefeated Wake Forest. Second quarter action. Rams running back Aldrick Thompson fumbles the ball in Huskies territory right as the Rams were gaining momentum. Next, third down for Heritage. Heritage quarterback and Duke commit Gunnar Holmgren gets swallowed up in the backfield by Sweat linebacker Kalen Locklear, and the Rams retain possession. Next play, Purnell Sweat coughs up the ball yet again to give it back to the Huskies, who then proceeds to fumble the ball and allows Purnell to recover for a touchdown. The Heritage coaching staff boasts an array of former NFL players who are determined to prove that their experience reigns supreme. Huskies quarterback Gunnar Holmgren is stripped from behind by Kalen Locklear, and the Rams recover with time winding down in the second quarter, trailing 21-6. First down for the Rams. Luke Oxendine scrambles out the pocket, looking for an open receiver downfield. He looks, he sees nothing. He heaves a prayer to LaKeydron Morrison in the back of the end zone to no avail as the ball is tipped and retained by the Huskies. The cold weather has given both teams a case of the fumbles, obviously. Holmgren then finds Ryan Moore on what seems to be a touchdown connection on the sideline. But then Moore fumbles the ball, and Purnell Sweat recovers yet again. Next play, Luke Oxendine tries to find Chandler Brayboy on a nice comeback route, but he's picked off by Heritage cornerback Lennox Lotta. Heritage also boasts a running back, Ricky Persons, a 4-star NC State commit, who had 148 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns on the day. However, Purnell's Chandler Brayboy has ice in his veins. He takes a screen pass from Luke Oxendine and takes it 47 yards for a Sweat touchdown. Sweat closes the gap to 27-13 heading into the fourth quarter and is close to pulling off a huge upset in Raleigh. However, Huskies fullback Drake Thomas grabs the handoff and pounds it in for a 36-yard touchdown. This touchdown would give the Huskies a 21-point lead. However, Purnell's Chandler Brayboy wasn't done yet. He did everything he could all night to help his team pull out the victory, including this nice 63-yard kickoff return that he made a few people miss and nearly took to the house. Purnell would fight hard in their first playoff bout since 2011, but ultimately succumbed to the Heritage Huskies 34-13. The UNCP football team traveled to Jefferson City, Tennessee to play Carson Newman in their final game of the season. Carson Newman had 475 total yards of offense and used a bend but don't break defense that held the Braves to just 10 points the entire game. Senior E.J. Williams had 7 catches for 34 yards during the game, while Miles Grant carried the ball 10 times for 37 yards. Carson Newman came out on top 45-10 to win over the Braves. This loss ended the 2017 season for the Braves with a record of 2 wins and 8 losses. The Braves will return 16 starters next season, including 9 on offense. Head coach Shane Richardson talked about what the team needs to do to mentally be stronger next season.
We need some hunger to be able to be stirred from within, and I talked to the team about that Saturday after the game. We need players to kind of generate that motor and the engine of the train, and I think it starts with just a hunger and a desire and a motivation to say, 2-8 is not going to be good enough, and it's not something that anybody wants to experience around this program. And there's going to need to be a great determination that comes out of that hunger to be able to say, you know, we're going to have to work for it, and we're going to have to focus on it, and we're going to have to really lock into what we need to do here to get better. And so we need a hungry football team coming back, and I think that's probably maybe the word that comes to mind.
The wrestling team hosted their 37th annual Pembroke Classic this past weekend. Eric Milks and Brandon Sloop each had perfect runs in their championship bracket, sending them to the podium. 20 of the 26 athletes that competed won at least one match, with more than a dozen wrestlers posting 2 or more victories. Newcomer Nick Daggett finished with 3 straight victories in the consolation bracket. Senior Joey DiMartino finished the day with 5 wins, recording the most wins for the Braves. Overall, the Braves sent 10 to the podium at Lumbee Guarantee Bank Court. The Braves will be back in action this weekend at NC State. The UNCP women's soccer team also traveled to Jefferson City, Tennessee to play in the first round of the NCAA regional tournament. The first shot of the day came from UNCP's Stacey Scott in the 10th minute, but Queens goalkeeper made a quick 2-handed save. Queens responded right back, but Gina Ryan logged her first save of the game with ease. In the second half, Alexis Pittman and Stacey Scott each had shots less than 3 minutes apart. This forced Queens goalkeeper to make another big save in the game. Shannon O'Neal uncorked the shot in the 83rd minute, forcing Queens to make yet another save for the game. The game went into overtime, and the Braves held the possession for the majority of the period. Unfortunately, Queens found the back of the net on a free kick with only 3 seconds left on the clock to win the game 1-0. This upcoming weekend, head coach Lars Ensign tells us that the end of the season was bittersweet.
You have to look at this, and it is an incredibly successful year. We went 15-5-1. We won our first PBC Conference Tournament Championship. We made our 3rd trip to the NCAAs. Yeah, it's a little bit of sour grapes the way the season ended with a very controversial call at the end of a game. But you know, putting it in proper perspective, I'm incredibly proud of these young ladies. They had a phenomenal year, set some records, did some incredible things. And yes, I mean, my overview overall is clearly that it was a very, very successful year, and I'm extremely proud of the young ladies, and we've set the standard very high. Now we have to make sure that complacency doesn't set in and that we can continue to live up to this standard, which really we've set for a number of years, but I think our program is headed in an incredibly exciting direction, and I look forward to years to come of this type of success and beyond.
UNCP men's basketball team had 2 home games this past weekend at their season opener. In the first game against Lenore-Ron, senior Nigel Grant had his 4th career double-double. Grant scored 9 of his 14 points in the first half. However, the game was tied after the first half. UNCP had much of the momentum in the second half, but the Bears made it a 2-point game at the 14-minute mark. The Braves then scored the next 6 points to lead for the Bears for the rest of the game. The Braves won the game 62-57. In the second game, the Braves played Catawba in the PBC versus SAC Challenge. The black and gold had the advantage the entire game. In the first half of the game, the Braves had a double-digit lead. However, the Indians came back in the second half to bring their deficit down to single digits. But this didn't stop the Braves. The team beat Catawba 91-67 behind Nakia Pruitt's 11 points and 10 rebound performance. Pembroke's next game will be on the road against Wingate. The women's basketball team started their season this past weekend. The ladies had 2 games, first game being against Fayetteville State, and the second was an exhibition match against UNC Wilmington. In the first game against Fayetteville State, the team got off to a rusty start. However, the Braves took the first lead of the game at the 8-minute mark and held that lead until the 3rd quarter when the Broncos went on a 13-0 run. Once the 4th quarter started, the Braves rallied back to lead by 1, but the Broncos weren't done yet. They knocked down a few 3-pointers to make the team go ahead by 2. Freshman Alicia Hardy ignited a play that would make the Braves go on a 10-point run. The Braves won the game 72-65. In their second game against UNC Wilmington, the Braves fought hard against the Seahawks. The Braves had their first lead in the first quarter, but the Seahawks closed the quarter out on a 12-point run. The Braves were down 10 at half and continued into the 3rd quarter. The Braves fought back to bounce hard and close the gap. However, they fell short of UNCW 73-64. The Braves' next game will be at home against Mount Olive. That's it for sports. I'm Dolphins Fishing III. Back to you all in the studio.
Thanks, DP. And that's it for us. We're off next week for Thanksgiving.
Here's wishing you and your loved ones a happy Thanksgiving.